Remember 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, the guy who was all talk with no action towards helping in the fight against racial injustice in America?
It seems to me that he might have found a better way to express his political opinion. It might have been better if he were out in the community helping perhaps, or at least had done something.
Fight injustice with disrespect, and what he did was very disrespectful.
Well, let's check in to see what Cap's been up to. After exercising his First Amendment right to protest the treatment of black Americans in this country, Kaepernick vowed to support his protest with donations, stating, "I will donate $1 million plus all of my proceeds of my jersey sales from the 2016 season to organizations working in oppressed communities, $100,000 a month for 10 months. Now this may be news to you if you happen to just pop your head in for the kneeling, become outraged, lit his jersey on fire, and then return back to your bubble. But Kaepernick has kept his word and so far has contributed $300,000 to his cause. Alright, but here's the important thing. Anyone can donate money. Donations are terrific and they help a great deal. But staying involved and remaining consistent is also so important, and that's something that Colin Kaepernick has done and more. Because arguably more important than his financial commitment is the specificity of where he directs his money. He's not just throwing around dollars and hoping it inspires some sort of change. Each month he documents, with the help of his organization, exactly where the funding is going and precisely what the funding will be used for, down to the finest detail and dollar assigned. So while those outraged by his initial protest screamed, "What about black-on-black crime in Chicago?" as a means to deflect attention away from the systemic racism plaguing the country, around a quarter of his $300,000 so far has been donated towards groups helping at-risk youth in the city of Chicago. Oh, and also, remember when Kaepernick was widely derided as just another celebrity out of touch with reality, obsessed with pushing his black versus white agenda? Well, he seemed pretty up to date with the oppression faced by groups in the United States besides just African Americans, because he directed half of his monthly $100,000 donation in December to a crowdfund set up for water protectors at Standing Rock. Of that contribution, 50% went to offset salaries for MDs and nurses who were there, 25% went to offset building materials for mobile medical clinic, 15% was for medical supplies, and 10% was for liability insurance. But let's look further from what is solely quantifiable for a sec, because this spoiled superstar, on some quest for relevance as he was called, understood from the moment he broadcast this conversation the importance of grassroots efforts to educate at-risk youth in America. And so as a result, he started Know Your Rights Camp, a campaign for youth fully funded by Kaepernick to raise awareness on the importance of higher education, how to give yourself the best possible chance at attending college, how becoming self-empowered is vital, and reminding yourself of what you're entitled to and what you can obtain, and finally, strategies for reducing conflict and staying safe while interacting with law enforcement in different scenarios. But all of his post-protest efforts have been met with deafening silence from his critics. To them, even if they were to take a moment to leave their mum's basement and see what Kaepernick has been doing to back up his initial protest, they still wouldn't care. They are only interested in scoring political points. Because he could donate his organs to every child in need, and still all they would ever talk about is how he oh so viciously took that knee. Because like a broken record, I must repeat, the reasons for his protests were never what his critics were up in arms about. They never cared about why he was doing it, but what he was doing and where he was doing it. But to those who understood from the beginning why his protest was so important, it is no surprise to us that this backup quarterback has been running critical plays in the battle for racial injustice from the moment he started and will continue long after he stops playing America's game.